Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about solving quadratic equations. So previously we have learned how to find factors for quadratic expressions, and today we're going to talk about solving quadratic equations, or in other words, the idea is at what value of x will the equation become 0. So we call that as solutions or zeros. All right, so let's do this example. So let's say you have x squared plus 14x plus 48 equals to 0. Because it has an equal sign, now this is an equation. Now this is a monic quadratic equation, right? So we will do a times c. So if you compare this with your general equation for quadratic equation, we write it as ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So your a is 1 and c is 48, right? A is 1, c is 48, and you would do a times c, which is 48, and that's the factors that you're trying to find. So what are the factors for 48? There could be many. You can do 1 times 48, you can do 2 times 24, you can do 12 times 4 or 6 times 8. But for me, the goal is when you add these factors or subtract the factors, you should be able to produce your b value. So now if you see your b value, which is 14, 6 plus 8 works for me, because 6 plus 8 is 14. So how am I going to break it down? I'm going to write 14x, but I'm going to split it into 6x plus 8x. That's what you're going to see up here. So with my red marker, I'm showing you that 14 is now written as 6x plus 8x. And now let's see grouping. So you're going to choose x squared plus 6x as one pair and 8x plus 48 as the other pair, and find what is common. So try to find what is common. X is common. If you notice, in x squared and 6x, x is the common term. So I'm going to write that outside. Open bracket. So x times x plus 6. Now the rule is the second bracket also should be the same, which is in our case x plus 6. So then what is the magic number that has to be in this spot so that it can give you this second piece of indicated flower brace? It should be 8 because x is already inside the bracket. So you would do 8 times x as 8x and 8 times 6 as 48. So then finally you would write x plus 6, which is one of the common brackets, and you would put x plus 8 in the other bracket, and that would equal to 0. Because remember, we are trying to solve. Solve means what value of x will make the equation to 0. Once you do that, you need to have an understanding of something called as NFL law, null factor law, meaning when you multiply two numbers, if one of the number that you multiplied is 0, then the whole equation for this multiplication would become 0. For example, even though you have 2 but you are multiplying with 0, it becomes 0. If you have 3 but you are multiplying with a 0, it will become 0. So null means 0 in math. So that means I'm assuming that each of this bracket will turn to 0, then the answer is going to be 0. So if x plus 6 equals 0, then x is minus 6. You should know how to solve one-step equations. The same thing. x plus 8 is going to be 0, so then x is negative 8. So at these two values of x, which is x equals negative 6 and x equals negative 8, your quadratic equation is going to become 0. So that means these are called your solutions, or they're called zeros, or these are also called, if you're graphing, these are your x intercepts, because at these values of x it's making your y value 0. All right, that's it. That's the whole process. So this is how you would solve a quadratic equation. Thanks again. Hope this video was helpful. Check out some other videos on solving. Bye bye guys. Thank you.